Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
You are all welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that provides you with the best and latest updates. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like and also share. You can also leave your comments after watching under the comment section, or send us a WhatsApp on the WhatsApp number showing on the screen, which is 0277 128 777. If you have anything for us to publish, you can do that by sending a voice to us on that number. Thank you.
It's been a day of chaos across the country in many parts, indeed, as many people queued for the district level elections. The district level elections that historically hasn't been one that people really want to participate in, with apathy the other day. And so today, when many showed up and expecting to cast a ballot, they were told, particularly in areas like the Eastern and Ashanti regions, that they cannot vote after all. Those areas have now been postponed to Thursday, and so they didn't cast a ballot today. That's the statement that was issued by the Electoral Commission today, postponing the elections in Ashanti and Eastern region, particularly in some electoral areas there, so not entire region. So some electoral areas there had been postponed to Thursday, 21st December. Now, the EC apologized for this, but they didn't quite explain why. They only said technical challenges. We've been making a few calls today to try and understand what really happened. A few things that we've learned today is that there were shortage of ballot papers. That really was a big challenge for the Electoral Commission, and it was primarily because the printing houses, some of the printing houses contracted by the Electoral Commission to print the ballot papers, failed to print the papers on time. And so that then affected the entire distribution system for the Electoral Commission. And so this was a big deal indeed for the Electoral Commission to call off elections on the day of the elections because they didn't have ballot papers. It tells you the gravity of what they were dealing with. And we also saw that we have late scheduling of elections, leaving many people stranded. That was a major problem today. Many people were left stranded today because they turned up to vote. They were in the queue and were told because the papers were not coming, we're sorry, you can vote today, go home, return on Thursday. That's a big concern. Already, as I said at the beginning, this is an election that typically people are not interested in already. And so how do you get them back on Thursday to vote? We'll speak to our ex-panelists when they join us. And there's significant delays across the country as a result of this problem that we've seen in these areas. Now, the thing to note, though, although the Electoral Commission has postponed elections in electoral areas in Ashanti and the Eastern region, we've had widespread reports in the Central region also, but also in the Northern region. In fact, in parts of the Northern region, as our correspondent joined us with details of, there's many polling stations she visited. The number of ballot papers that were distributed and left at the polling stations were far short compared to those registered there, right? And so that clearly has been an issue. In the Central region, for example, again, people showed up, they couldn't vote, there was agitation. Some of the aspirants complained to us that indeed they had spent quite a bit campaigning, getting people there to vote. I want to take it to the Ashanti region because there's something very interesting happened there. Some of the aspirants actually besieged the Electoral Commission headquarters in the Ashanti region to ask the Electoral Commission to explain to them what was happening. Because as you noticed in the statement they issued, it was just said technical challenges. Watch this on the Ashanti region, where some of the aspirants confessed they had spent money, bashed people, facilitated their movement, cooked for them. But of course, all that is going to go waste now.
That woman on your competent. It's blame be only as the bono. Now a buying in free because if on your competent. So your problem on pa. I didn't tell baby to abana baby to aba. That means more interest for one. Yen one no aduane say on say obi obeto aba like nsuo benom ya to nsuo ya to ya no nadwan enkofo afa car free no ya de car ko isi baby e de o ma ba ama nyinya ye ka why so be ka say yen de ento aba identity one san kan say e bia before the election up to now say yama isi office ya ke yama isi office ya akenim say BBC ekoso.
It is step Ben I'm taking next because he said when you release the letter after here, what are you doing next?
The next steps in say you better your wadwene. So omu interest what they are and your munjai if you say omba beto mema ho. Omba beto mema say interest party omu interest tin omu yesadina and your munjai because your mema ho. The interest that.
Okay, so they are here to demand access from the EC boss, Mr. Banobio, as to why their election would not be held today, but rather on Thursday. He says that they woke up very early to make an announcement to people to come and vote. The voters came, but then unfortunately they were asked to return home because they are not going to vote today. They made financial support to them, transportation support, and then also prepared some meals, but unfortunately everything has to go waste today. So these are the people who have besieged the EC office here in the Ashanti region.
Story there, just one center there. That actually is the EC headquarters in the Ashanti region there. And as you heard, that's one of the aspirants there, surrounded by his supporters who had besieged the EC headquarters. They're asking these fundamental questions. The challenge had really left the situation very difficult for many people who were in the queue to vote. They have to come up again on Thursday and attempting to vote. The key question to ask is, at which point did the Electoral Commission realize that the printing houses had failed? Because, as you know, the Electoral Commission just yesterday was very confident that this was going to happen, and they were very prepared for this. Something may have gone wrong, and we'll try and understand what that is when we speak to our guests who will join us. As you know, the NDC has issued a statement tonight on this. They accuse the EC of messing up the district level elections, and they've also, talked about the challenge with the printing of the ballot papers today, and that they've also alleged this procurement breaches as a result of what has happened in the procurement of the services of the printing houses. As you know, the Electoral Commission is very clear on this as to what the district level elections can achieve, and that they will remain secure without the use of the indelible ink. That's one of the key things that going into this election, the EC has announced. And so you're not going to get that ink on your finger when you vote, because the EC trusts in its systems because of the biometric verifications that you go through to vote, and that they believe that that is a very strong system that can detect any attempt to vote twice. Now, I dare people to try this. See if you can vote twice, whether the system won't flag you. And as we know tonight, the EC itself, tomorrow we'll get some further briefings from them. What really happened and what are remedial measures? Because as you know, this may affect Thursday's turnout also. Now, there are some very interesting cases that came up also today. One of them is this very interesting story of the twin. One of them had gone to vote already, had been verified. The second one showed up, and the system was saying, you were voting twice. And they brought in another BBD machine. That too failed. That was a very fascinating case indeed, and how it was resolved was very interesting indeed. And this happened in the Ghana Central District. That possibly proved that the system works, right? I mean, once it picks you and locks you in as having voted, when you come back, it will again flag you. The numbers there, we know already, the districts, 268 of them across the country. The constituencies, we know of them, with one that about to add to that to 276 electoral areas. That's a huge number of electoral areas, 6,272 of them. Many of them, as we'll show you pretty shortly, have now been postponed in Ashanti and in the Eastern region too. You look at the polling stations, 38,000. So this is a logistical challenge, right? I mean, that tells you a story. 38,000 polling stations is a logistical challenge. But the EC is very adept at organizing the general elections, presidential and parliamentary, and they do it smoothly. They did that in 2020. It went smoothly. So why are they having challenges with this? Is it that the EC itself somehow doesn't give the same attention to the district level elections as it would the national elections, the general elections? I don't know. I'll ask the experts when we sit down for a conversation. And I'm also interested in the electoral area conversation and how that translates into contestants. For example, 18,000 people showed up today. Many of them disappointed, as you heard there, because they did not get to see if they will win or lose, because that has now been postponed to Thursday. And if you look at the unit committees, 47,000 there. But then if you look at the breakdown, and this is the part that for me raises the challenge with this, because if you go to the first three, and we are talking here about the regions with the most contestants, right? If you look at that, the district level elections, regions of most contestants, you're talking about Ashanti, Western, Central, right? If you're doing the breakdown there, if you go to the Ashanti region, you have 3,700 contestants there. If you come to the Eastern region, you have 2,600. If you come to Central, 1,600. The first three with the most contestants are the areas where we have heard the situation with the challenge, with the ballot papers going in. So that clearly tells you that this obviously will become an issue, because going into Thursday, can you get all these people back and enthusiastic again? Can they go into people's homes, rally people to come and vote for them? Because that's where the galvanizing effect is, when the contestants themselves take up the challenge to drive the voter enthusiasm towards casting your ballot. But consider what has happened today. Will they still have the same energy that they've invested into this process coming into today to get them out to vote? That is a big question indeed. And again, if you look at the regional breakdown, right, again tells you a story, I mean, of what the EC will have to deal with coming into Thursday. What the Electoral Commission will have to deal with. This, of course, the regional breakdown. Let's look at the elections of the unit committees. What we saw before was the district, the assembly members there, who, of course, spread across the country. But the unit committee members, same story, really. Ashanti, Eastern, Greater Accra, Central, right? Greater Accra, we haven't had too much of the challenge because, of course, a lot of the printing happens here. But again, if you look at it, the three are still in the range here. So big concerns ahead of Thursday. My guests will have a conversation. What lessons do we learn from this for the next district level elections? But many say the challenges that we've witnessed with this election, it is the strongest evidence yet, the strongest argument yet to back why we need to politicize this process and bring in the political parties, because that's where the interest will come in. And the EC will not dare, of course, supervise a process where ballot papers aren't ready, because they know the parties won't stand for that. Do my guests agree? After the break.
Thank you for watching. Please, if you have not yet subscribed, please do so for us. Hit the notification bell, like, and also share for us. Thank you. If you have any comments, you can still drop it or send us a voice note on the number showing on the screen. Thank you.
I'm not PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal le Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.